Hello and welcome to the Hardcore Gamers Club. My name is Daniel. For those of you tuning in for the first time or watched my other video regarding the announcement of this video entitled Warning, Sony makers of the PS4 busted for intentionally killing the game systems. Alright, now I'm going to show you exactly what they did, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why I am saying that they intentionally did this to prevent you from making your game systems last longer. Okay, so give me a second. I'm going to pause this video and I'm going to point you toward my TV screen so that you don't get all waggly out. I'm going to point you toward the TV screen of my computer so that you can see a portion of a video that I put up for proper cleaning and maintenance of the PS4 Slims. Okay, here we go. One sec. Okay, let me move this off to the side. Okay, right here is a PS4 Slim with the upper metal housing removed. This is the best way to clean these out for a deep cleaning, for a good long-lasting life, because the fans draw air in here, push air through the heatsink in order to cool it, and the hot air is used to cool the power supply, and then it expels out the back side of the box. Well, over time, dust builds up on the face side of this heatsink and slows the air down and eventually stops it, which is the #1 killer of these game systems. But as this air is slowing down due to the dust building up on the face of this heatsink, and trust me, I don't care where in this world you live, unless you're inside of a hermetically controlled, dust-free bubble, you will have dust buildup inside the system. Some people have better air quality than others, but you will. Over time, it'll slow down, and that air flow going through here, being slower, will get hotter and hotter and hotter. Eventually, we will no longer be able to cool the power supply, but rather start heating it up. That causes power supply burnout. It causes chip burnout, causes cap burnout, causes component failures, all kind of nasty stuff. Not to mention, this metal housing, being able to easily remove this by a couple of screws, allows you access to the disk drive without completely and entirely disassembling the entire system, removing motherboard and all, to be able to remove the Princess Pony card that your kid stuck in, or the quarters and dimes and nickels that your kid stuck in, or reattaching the rollers because the center bar here that is not shown but is in between this roller and this roller gets knocked out because somebody tried to shove the disc in instead of allowing the game system to do its job. Okay, so yeah, now that we kind of gone over that a little bit, let's show you what Sony did that I'm so hopping pissed off about. Okay, one second, I'm gonna pause this so you don't get bounced all over the screen. Okay, so here is the newest model of the PS4 that's been released. Okay, all I did was pull the top off. Normally, we would be able to remove one little screw beneath the power supply, pull this power supply up, and then remove this and have access to everything in here, right? Okay, but check this out, guys. That is plastic, melted in plastic, not a screw. Same here, same here, same here, and here, and here. Okay, you cannot even replace your pull this off to replace or repair a fan. You got one little screw here, but this is plastic here. Doesn't matter if that's there or not. That's plastic stud there. What they did was, in the manufacturing process, they spend millions of dollars to redesign the internal frame of this system so that it had extensions out here. And then for the assembly line, rather than having a machine that puts in screws, they redesigned that to have little heating elements to melt these plastic posts down as studs, so that this cannot be removed without cutting this off. Now, yeah, we can still get around it by actually cutting this off and then gluing a little plastic tab over the top of these sections, which is not going to work real good because there's not a whole lot of room in there, or potentially tapping a new threaded screw into these locations. But seriously, folks, this is a direct and intentional attempt to prevent repairs by shops, by making it harder, which this design is going to be a lot more expensive just for general repairs, because if your fan goes out, guess what? Your entire system has to be absolutely 100% disassembled. If you have an issue with your disk drive, if the kid puts a quarter in the disk drive, unless you're willing to cut these off and then put ugly little plastic glue tips in here in order to get this to sit back down, and there's no guarantee it's going to sit back down because you're going to have to sit there and hold everything until that glue dries, you will have to absolutely 100% disassemble this system. In other words, you're going to have to remove the motherboard, a million screws in the back, the power supply, everything out of the system in order to remove the disk drive, in order to get the stuff out of your system. Okay, so yeah, this is ridiculous for them to spend that amount of money. I'm sure just the electricity it costs to melt these little plastic poles down would equal out or be the equivalent of the cost of them little tiny screws. Really? Seriously, folks? Okay, so now you no longer have access to easily remove this and get the dust out and remove roaches and all of that other stuff. This system is now less friendly for repairs and more disposable. If you allow these guys to continue doing this kind of stuff, then eventually they will be gluing the lids down and gluing the bottoms down, so that you will have to literally cut the outside of your systems off in order to do the repairs. Because Sony don't repair anything, they only replace the consoles whenever they're sent in under warranty. That's why if you break the HDMI port or something like that, they refuse to even replace it in most cases, especially if it's dirty or anything. They tell you, oh, just buy a new system, because they don't repair. They do not give their authorized repair centers any schematics for these systems for the repairs. So if there's any motherboard issues, the whole system is shot. They sell it off for people who just sell parts to make a few bucks. But now, on top of that, they're making the systems less friendly for the repairmen. Right? This is becoming more and more a disposable system. Now, I don't know about you, but have you ever watched the movie on Netflix called Plastic Ocean? All right, look that up and tell me that these should all be disposable systems. Seriously, folks, we cannot live in a disposable society any longer. Go watch that movie. It's called A Plastic Ocean, and you will understand what I'm talking about regarding the fact that we cannot allow manufacturers to do this. In fact, I would like you guys to help me force legislation that states any electronic manufacturer must provide repair schematics to any licensed businesses that request them for a reasonable price. Okay? Because all of these systems are disposable to a certain point, because without schematics, everybody is limited to, all the repairmen that have education in electronics are limited to testable components, and that's it. Alright, which is not a whole lot, which cuts down on 98% of game systems that would have otherwise been repairable are not repairable because there is no information on component values, voltages, all of that stuff. If there's an issue in the microcircuitry of your system, that board is good for nothing more than removing an HDMI port or something that broke on another system. You can trade it straight across if you got an identical board. But that's the extent of its recyclability. All of these components on there, there's no information for component values, nothing. So there's no way for anybody to test anything. Now, I'm not saying that they should give us access to their programming. I'm saying that I don't care if this is their design game system. Anybody manufacturing any electronic must provide repair schematics to licensed shops, because we do not want to live in a disposable world any longer. We would like our stuff to last longer should we decide to pay for it. Now, if we are rich and can afford to upgrade to the newest model every single year, then yay, a kid below them will get a cheaper game system that couldn't afford to buy a brand spanking new one, and the rich person can upgrade to the next latest and greatest, rather than forcing us to have a game system that on average will last 3 to 5 years best, because they removed all of your ability to clean the game system, lied to you and only told you to vacuum off the outside vents, and told you never to go inside because the dust on this heatsink, and they're not telling you this part, is building up deep inside, and no vacuum on the outside will ever pull off the dust on the face side of that heatsink that's between this fan and this power supply. There is no vacuum in the world that will take that dust off. It has to be blasted out with air pressure, either in reverse here or having this fan completely, this shroud completely removed. And it's best for this model to have this shroud completely removed. Otherwise, if you blast air through here, a lot of that dust is going to go straight into your disk drive and it will quit functioning. So this metal plate needs to be removable. If you are thinking about buying a PlayStation, do not buy the Slim. Repeat, do not buy the Slim because of these melted in rivets as opposed to screws. Buy the older fat model and hope they didn't do it to that. Stay safe, happy gaming everybody, and share this video with everybody you know so they don't get ripped off with a system that is going to cost them twice as much to have repaired now, thanks to this, and the fact that now for any issue with your system, it will have to be absolutely and completely disassembled. Stay safe, happy gaming, I'm out of here.